Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be reviewing, I'm going to be carrying on my Beatles discography at long last. It's been such a long time since I reviewed the Beatles debut, Please Me. So today we're going to be taking a look at With the Beatles. So of course this was the Beatles' second studio album and was released on November 22nd, 1963, and it was recorded only 4 months after Please Me. And the album features 8 original songs and 6 covers of mostly R&B and Motown hits, and the album release was actually delayed by EMI due to Please Me selling so well and being top of the charts. In fact, it was only taken off its #1 spot by this album. So, you know, another hugely successful album by the Beatles. But does it really favour their sound or improve on their solid debut only 4 months after it? Well, it kicks off the song It Won't Be Long. And yeah, this kicks off the very short, only about half-an-hour album, in which the longest song is 3 minutes long. Very short album, but, you know, it was 63, so that wasn't, you know, that was very common. And this song is sung by Lennon, and it's a really powerful vocal performance from him with an intensely catchy chord. It's a wonderfully short but sweet pop song with some particularly effective bass from McCartney, and McCartney's bass also emphasised a lot on the next song, All I've Got to Do, which is, even though it's a primarily Lennon composition sung by him as well, again, it's just another solid song with some fantastic bass by McCartney, which is bass chords. They just really drive the song, and they're so crucial to the heart of it. It really stands out here at the first portion of this album. And then again, just another wonderful song with All My Loving. This is a Paul-fronted track and predominantly written by him, and yet, I mean, it's just another, it's a very simple song musically, though the rhythm by John is pretty cool. It just has that classic Beatles sound to it, influenced heavily by the rock and roll of the 50s, but with that flair that made the Beatles so special and a great cause. Now, Don't Bother Me. This is a particularly interesting song. This is the disc debut of George Harrison as a songwriter, and he considered this an exercise in songwriting, later saying, "At least it showed me that all I needed to do was keep on writing, and then maybe eventually I would write something good." And while he certainly would write greater songs, he'd also write far worse. And in fact, this is actually one of my favourite songs on the album. It has a particularly interesting sound to it, along with the amazing chorus, and a wonderful little solo by Harrison himself. And yeah, but what really makes this song stand out? Firstly, Harrison's dual-tracked vocals. They create this wonderfully warm vocal tone, and then you have Ringo playing a loose-skinned Arabian bong for some odd reason. Still, it's used very well, and let's take a little listen to the song. Okay, so let's now move on to Little Child, and this was actually originally written for Ringo to sing, but he was given a different song, and McCartney describes this actually as album filler, but I really like it. I don't think it's one of the weaker songs on the album. I think it's fantastic. It has this amazing harmonica from John, rocking piano from McCartney. I mean, it may be the shortest song on the album, being only about 1 minute 45, but it's just so fun. But then the album, it starts to dip as we get to Till There Was You, and this is the first cover on the album, primarily written by Meredith Willson for the musical The Music Man. And it's a pleasant, acoustic, McCartney song, Ringo on some more bongos. I don't know why there's some bongos on this album, but I like them, they actually suit the song. Anyway, this song, definitely one of the weaker songs on the album, doesn't really go anywhere. In fact, I find it pretty dull. And then we get another cover, which is Please Mr. Postman, originally recorded by the Marvelettes, a Motown band, and sung by Lennon on this version. And yeah, it ain't bad. But again, unlike the Lennon, McCartney and Harrison songs earlier on, it just feels quite derivative of the time. It doesn't stand out from anything else at the time due to being a cover, and really, it's very much, I'd say, a product of its time. I don't think it really holds up as a modern song, unlike some of the other songs like Don't Bother Me, which it certainly does. But, I mean, it has a decent chorus. It's easy to sing along to. Now, Roll Over Beethoven. I think most people will know the Beatles version of this, even if you're not too familiar with this album, and it's without a doubt the best cover on the album. Now, this could just partly be, in my opinion, because I like Chuck Berry quite a bit, but also it's just such a classic rendition of this rock and roll song, you know. And they really capture the vibe of the original, especially Harrison, who's also on vocals, and with his lead guitar, and McCartney with his bass. But they also add an edge and a rawness that just takes it up that, you know, that notch more, and that level higher. But then, Hold Me Tight. And I think John Lennon sums up this Paul McCartney song the best, to be honest. And that was Paul's. It was a pretty poor song, and I was never really interested in it. That's what I think as well. It's a pretty poor song. Now, You Really Got Hold on Me Again, another cover. This was written by Smokey Robinson for the band The Miracles, and seems just like real filler, to be honest. I mean, it's not a bad song, but this rendition is hardly anything that special. I find it fairly boring, fairly lackluster. It just lacks the life the first half of side 1 on the original LP had. But again, it's you know, it's not bad. I mean, it's, you know, the Beatles. I Want to Be Your Man. This is the first Ringo song name, and I always look forward to the Ringo songs. In fact, some Ringo songs are some of my absolute favourite Beatles songs. I always love them. I just think they're just so much fun, always catchy, always a bit silly. They're just great. But this, no. I'll play a bit before I continue. Yeah, so, I mean, the Rolling Stones also did a version, and I do prefer it to that. The Stones version was released a couple of weeks earlier, I think, and it just as a single, it wasn't actually on an album. It's basically because the Stones saw and Lennon and McCartney finishing the song and were so impressed they thought they'd cover it. I don't know why they were so impressed, as I think it's a good example of how the sound really starts to lose steam on side 2. And then again, another piece of filler, Devil in Her Heart, written by Ricky D. And I don't have much to say about this except for meh. That's literally it. And the last Lennon-McCartney composition on the album is Not a Second Time, and yet this is a decent song. Some really nice piano from George Martin, and Lennon's double-tracked vocals sound particularly great on this song. Not stronger song than the last few, and a fitting penultimate song. And then this leads into Money, which, well, here's a bit. And as you can see, this is the final song on the album with really raw vocals from Lennon, with Paul and George supplying the answers in the song. And this song, apparently in the Cavern days, was greeted with much of the same reaction as songs like Twist and Shout. Well, I don't think it's quite as good. This is just a proper rock and roll song with an amazing, amazing vocal performance by Lennon as he shouts the lyrics, and it's a wonderful end to the album. So overall, I find the song quite similar to Please Please Me, in my opinion on it, to be honest. I think, though, don't blame the Beatles for using too many covers on the album. I mean, the fact it was only recorded 4 months after the debut didn't really help. I mean, there's even some clear filler in the Lennon-McCartney songs, even admitted by Lennon and McCartney themselves. Again, they just haven't quite found their sound, and they're playing it fairly safe. I mean, the record company, they just want to capitalise on the success. And I don't think they've quite been given the freedom yet to truly become great. But still, I mean, the first half of side 1, first 4 songs are brilliant, but unfortunately for the rest of the album, the brilliance is not as dense, and you have to dig through a fair bit of filler to find it. While I don't think it's quite as good as Please Please Me, it's still a great album. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. So this has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.